You're listening to The Scrimmage with Daniel Hargrove and Justin Domashevitz.
How? How do you get a delay of game out of a timeout?
Timeout!
When you called the timeout to avoid a delay of game.
Pete Carroll and inappropriately
Russ is
going to
get away with it, though. Russ is going to get away with
This is just insane.
You'll see why in about 20
Better
seconds.
combination.
So Justin's stream is ahead of Andrew and I's stream, but this is
Andrew's and my.
This is so. You know what, grammar guy? Okay,
Right.
actually, I actually like it when I'm corrected. Usually with my grammar, except for when. Oh yeah, you were right. Down to the one to Metcalf. Anyway, except for when my wife corrects me on good and well, because I'm saying, yeah, I'm doing good. And she's like, well.
Superman does good. You're doing well.
And I'm like, no, I'm good. And she's like, and then I really frustrated because then I'm like, no, I'm doing gooder today. Ah!
How gooder can you be doing when you can't even keep your mic screen from falling over?
Exactly.
This is a weird intro.
Yeah, it is. But it's a weird game. The Seahawks has made this just a weird day.
The Seahawks have made
Weirder
this.
than normal intro. Oh, no.
No, the Seahawks, you were saying have.
Yeah.
So you were saying that it was multiple people, right? Like plural. But I was saying the Seahawks team. So singular has, right?
But Seahawks
Is the
plural.
team name.
I think
It's the team name.
I think when the team name is constructed as plural,
But it's
you
the
treat
team.
it as plural. If you had said Seattle, you would have had to say it as singular.
But the Seahawks, what if I said the Seahawks team has?
This is a really interesting question. And I think I'm right, but I'm not going to die on this hill. I'm willing to acknowledge there's a possibility I'm wrong.
I'm pretty sure that it's different in UK English and American English.
What?
We're not in England.
I know. I'm just saying that might be why Daniel's confused.
Because
I do like how
Daniel's usually in England.
Yeah.
Now he's in America, so it gets a little confusing.
I do like how they spell theater.
Theater.
Theatre. Welcome to the theatre of the scrimmage. Also, they spell honor weird.
I like how they
Don't they throw that extra U in there?
I like how they
a lot
call
of extra
cookies
U's in.
biscuits.
Biscuits. And chips are fries.
There's so many things on, like, Angel, my wife watches the British Baking Show.
That's a good show.
It's a good show, but
Yeah.
also there's some things that I had no idea. They say them differently.
Yeah.
So I had no idea when they were talking about baking biscuits for many episodes, and I was only half paying attention.
Yeah.
It did not click immediately. They're talking about cookies.
You're like, wow, they really like their biscuits over
yeah.
there.
Anyway, you're listening to The Scrimmage.
Is that what you're listening to or watching?
Yeah, or watching. I'm Justin Domashevitz. Daniel Hargrove is here as well. Hello. Usually he opens the show by making a horrible and weird noise. Thank you.
There you go.
But we were both so confused by the fact
my bad.
that the Seahawks had a delay of game coming out of a timeout that was taken to avoid a delay of game.
Yes.
That happened while the intro was playing.
Yeah.
So it kind of threw us off a little bit.
Just a little bit.
But our trusty producer, Andrew Gross, is here with us as well.
Yeah.
We probably have some stuff to talk about. I don't know. We're going to wing
so.
it today. We're winging it.
We are winging it way more than usual, and we are all three watching the Seahawks game as we're doing this. So it's going to get messy. Just 2-minute drill.
Let's go, hurry up! Gotta hurry. Hey, 2-minute situation, 44 seconds, hand the ball to the ref. Gonna do it right. 3 jet Buckeye, don't worry.
The 2-minute drill starts now.
Justin, Brian Kelly has left Notre Dame, just sending that program, I'm sure, into a spiral of demise that I will gloat over Francis as much as I possibly can. But also, he went to LSU and all of a sudden grabbed a Southern accent on the way down there, apparently. What are your thoughts?
Not a Louisiana accent, a Texas accent.
And
Nice.
that was pointed out. It was weird. Actually, the first couple times I listened to that sound clip, I was like, is this really a Southern accent? And then I heard the way when they isolated, he said, family. And I was like, oh yeah, he did pick up a Southern
Just
accent.
glad to be
Also,
a part of this family.
Who leaves a team that has an outside shot of making it to the playoff when he could have just waited 1 week and seen if they made it. Like, they needed one or two more things to bounce a different way, and they had a chance of sneaking in there.
But he doesn't care.
Weird.
He's on to LSU and his new family.
Oh, Adrian Peterson with the touchdown run. Old man
Daniel.
Peterson.
Lincoln Riley left Oklahoma
Yes.
to take the USC job. Will he be the most successful USC coach since Pete Carroll?
Well, that won't be very hard now, will it? They've been trash since Pete Carroll. So, yeah, I'll go out on that limb. He will be the most successful coach since Pete Carroll at USC. Does this scare me that they could possibly have a very good recruiter at USC again? Yes. As an Oregon State fan, yes, it does. Thankfully, they have the two divisions now, so at least they would be in that South Division. And as an Oregon State fan, or maybe if you're a UW fan or a Washington State fan, you play up in the North. As long as you take care of business, then you can just play them in that Pac-12 championship game, which, of course, title games, anything can happen, like Utah absolutely stomping out the Ducks for the second time this year. It was glorious. Justin, there's a lockout in Major League Baseball. Will we lose games? And if so, wouldn't that be perfect right as the Seattle Mariners are spending to kind of culminate the return and the turnaround of their rebuilding plan?
Experts seem split on this. I
don't like that.
There's a strong possibility that
I think you should keep people in one piece.
There's a strong possibility that we will lose some games, especially because it seems like the players' union in the new contract is going to fight for a shorter season.
Season.
Players might want a season anyway.
I don't know.
So they might be like, we lose some games. Let's play 120 instead of 162.
No.
I'd be okay with it.
I mean,
That would cement the 114 game record.
yeah, that's
A quarterback controversy
116.
might be brewing in Philadelphia
Yes.
as Gardiner Minshew has led the Eagles to a win over the incredible New York Jets. Daniel,
yes,
should Minshew take over for Jalen Hurts going forward?
absolutely. And I'm not saying that just because I predicted that would happen at the beginning of this season as soon as I heard that he was traded there. But yeah, of course. I mean, he started the game on fire. Sure, was it against the Jets? Yeah. But let him play against better teams. He'll elevate. It's the magical mustache of Minshew. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's it.
Let's go. Yeah.
Sorry, I got
I'm not-
distracted by the magical mustache.
I'm not even going to blame you because we didn't even have like questions written out. We just kind of winged it.
What is bonkers ball?
Bonkers ball is how this Seahawks game started.
Oh, okay.
Because it was a 73-yard fake punt by Travis Homer for a touchdown, and then fumbles and interceptions and fumbles, and it was just weird. It was bonkers.
Fumbles, interceptions, and fumbles?
Yes.
Wow.
Some of them recovered by the Niners, some by the Seahawks. A fumble right after an interception by the Seahawks. By the way, Bobby Wagner pulled a Joel to Blanco with that play. It was like mirror image of how Joel got his interception. He like took his run steps up and then like floated back into the middle and picked it off. It was the same exact thing. So much so that my wife saw it and was like, maybe they were watching the AAC championship game and Bobby Wagner was like, I should play like that.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I was like, I mean,
Smart, Bobby.
If Bobby is taking after Joel, then we're going to turn this season around.
For those of you who don't have the benefit of seeing everything that's also in front of me, there's bonkers ball to start game is written into the show sheet. That's why I asked without any context what bonkers ball is.
Yes. You're just taking us behind the curtain, taking them behind the curtain as
Well,
usual.
I feel like that might have required some explanation because I just said, what is bonkers ball?
And then,
without any real...
And then Daniel.
But then I provided the context.
Yeah, but then why would I have been asking you? Nobody would have known.
Because you're bad at segues.
Have you ever ridden a Segway?
Speaking of college football playoffs.
Speaking of Joel DeBlanco.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. College football playoff, yes.
Yeah. So the rankings are in.
Yes. Wait, they come out on Sunday now?
Only this one.
Only
this
this
one
Sunday.
came out this morning. It's
Sweet.
official. Alabama, Michigan.
Wait. So this is done then?
It's done.
Oh!
It's official.
This is the teams.
Alabama, Michigan, Georgia, Cincinnati.
And I'm assuming the only
that
reason why
in-
Alabama's number 1 is because they're like, well, we can't have the same two teams play each other in the first round that literally just played. So we'll have to just gargle on Alabama a little bit and be like, oh, you're so good. I'm slobbering that we can now have Alabama as a 1 seed. Oh, because they beat Georgia.
The
Are they
convincing win
setting-
over Georgia makes it so that
Well,
the
you say
committee-
convincing.
Yeah.
It started out that way. It turned out to be a 4-point game. Georgia actually had a couple throws into the end zone to finish. Well, they didn't throw it in the end zone, but they were like in the red zone driving when time ran out. So it started out convincing, and everybody stopped watching, and
stopped
then
watching.
Georgia almost came back and won.
I did not know that until this moment.
Is Alabama being set up for an embarrassing loss?
To Cincinnati? I love it. Why would it be well, I'm sure
Because
in the
any loss
nations.
before the championship game would be embarrassing.
I mean,
for
if Alabama
right?
lost to
Like,
an NFL team, they should be embarrassed if you listen to the national media.
Exactly.
Wow.
They're better than the Jets and the Lions. Didn't you know that?
Yeah, and the Cardinals and all the best teams in the NFL.
well, they're in the SEC,
Yeah, I know.
so they
And
play
they-
against better competition.
Like Vanderbilt.
Yeah. But anyway,
On
now
Vanderbilt so much.
I'm happy, and I think the fact that Oklahoma State lost was a big deal because that
Yes.
left there was no real legitimate team for the committee to put in because the next team back is Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Cincinnati literally handed Notre Dame its only loss. So you
At
can't-
Notre Dame,
at
too.
Notre Dame. So you can't put Notre Dame over Cincinnati. There was nobody else to put in. It actually just all kind of lined up where it was committee proof.
Yeah, it was perfect.
Yeah.
committee proof.
I mean, I'm sure that somebody's got No, I was going to say somebody probably has an argument to jump one of those SEC teams, but not a very good one. Yeah.
Not
Like,
with
not-
Alabama beating
yeah.
Georgia.
Yeah.
If Georgia, I think it would have been really interesting to see what they would have done
If Georgia had rolled.
had beaten Alabama.
Yeah.
Because then are you going to put a 2-loss Alabama team in? My guess is they probably would have.
Yeah.
They would have still stuck Alabama in at the 3 or the 4.
They would have
They
been
would have
like-
probably put them at the 3 because if Georgia was 1, they have this weird thing where they're not going to let conference teams play against each other, which is so stupid in a 4-team playoff.
Yeah.
That you're going to let the matchups be determined by which conference teams play in. There's only 2 matchups.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
And if you didn't know, the FCS playoffs have already started, showing that, you can have playoffs in college football. With multiple teams, not just 4.
If only there were some way to pit teams against each other to figure out which one is better.
How could we do that?
What if we put them all on the field at the same time?
There we
That
go.
won't work. Logistically, that just won't work.
Just have
16 teams. Everybody lines up
one
5
center.
yards away from each other and just free for all. Every team gets a ball. You play offense and defense at the same time. First team to get it onto the other end zone wins.
I kind of like that idea. I also like the idea of you have one center and 4 quarterbacks trying to put their hands in there to get the ball.
What about every single team in college football
Yeah.
in a round robin Kansas City tiebreaker
Oh,
in one huge weekend?
that would be baller. Games from 6 in the morning to 2 in the morning.
Yes.
All day Kansas City tiebreakers.
Culminating in the one that everybody actually cares about at the end of the weekend.
Yeah.
That might take too long. What if we did a rock, paper, scissors tournament instead? Just have all the players come out, meet at the 50-yard line. You go boom, boom, boom.
That would
boom,
just
boom,
be
boom.
the
If you
opening
lose,
round.
you're eliminated. If you win, you
just
stay in.
single elim.
Single elimination.
Whoa.
But everybody gets to play. So
Okay.
it's who get how many players.
But
you
then
have left.
Vanderbilt probably would win.
Because they're smart.
I assume so.
That's a good school. Good,
Yeah.
high quality.
Isn't it
education.
like the Harvard of the South?
I mean, people say that because it's literally the only school in the SEC with any academic standards.
I'm
Okay.
pretty sure that Daniel hates on them just because they have a Dutch-sounding name.
Vanderbilt sounds like he went to Linden Christian.
It does, doesn't it?
I took some delight in Linden Christian getting spanked by Eatonville
oh
in
yeah.
the semifinals, but I was.
But also it's Eatonville.
I was. Well,
So you're like,
Yeah.
Eatonville. But then Eatonville got pounded by Royal, and you're like,
Pounded.
yeah.
which is
And I want to
shocking
hate
to me.
Royal because they always win,
I hate Royal.
but they're just a small town. that's not a private school. So can I hate? They're just some random
Do
small
they
town.
recruit like crazy?
I have no
Real talk,
idea.
Like, how can they be
Literally,
so good?
How?
Because they were so good that they beat the pants off of Eatonville. Eatonville's a really good team.
Yeah.
I watched them play in person this year, and they were routing everybody.
Real good.
Linden Christian was the third-ranked team. Eatonville kicked their butts.
Yeah.
And then Royal made Eatonville look like
Say it.
a real bad team,
Oh.
like a JV
You
team.
missed it. You were supposed
Like
to say
Hoquiam.
poopy poop butt soup.
Oh, sorry.
But you decided to go with Hoquiam again because you're the worst.
That's just a joke.
I don't like your
Just a
joke.
joke. It was just a joke.
Well,
No offense.
We have rabbit trailed all over the place in our conversation, which really is the best way, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
Winging it.
Are we winging a Stump Daniel today
No,
too? Oh,
skipping
okay.
it.
Do you want the jingle?
But you know what Stump Daniel would have been brought to you by? The law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
Justin doesn't know.
We are sponsored by them and Ole
forgot.
Penn Real Estate. Thank you very much to those sponsors.
Did you know, as a Stump Daniel fact,
What?
Did you? Did you know?
did you know that the Seahawks have not finished last in the NFC West since 1996?
I did.
That stat has been brought to you by the law office of Jeffrey A. Domashevitz.
There we go. We'll just make up things to. Well,
Good job, Daniel. You
like
got it right. 100%.
all I had to do was say I did know
Nailed
that.
it.
Okay. The next topic I put in here because turns out Justin's playing both of us in fantasy football, and I know everybody wants to hear about that.
Well, let me give you an update.
Oh?
So at this moment, Real Pop Lock-It Drop It, which is my team, is projected to beat the Magical Mustache 138.82 to 108.28. Key players in this game being currently my 49ers, George Kittle and Eli Mitchell, not even at halftime have about a combined 29 points, which is a big deal. Andrew's best player so far really has been his kicker. He has the Rams kicker who early in the third quarter has 13 points already.
Not even going to say his name. He's just the Rams kicker.
Well, I don't know his first name. His last name's Gay.
I want to say Marvin, but I'm pretty sure that's a basketball player.
Probably.
Marvin Gaye.
He also had Keenan. This is where it gets tricky because this is where
Matt
anybody
Gay?
who's ever had multiple
Ben
fantasy
Gay?
teams.
Is it Ben Gay?
I don't know. It's
Okay.
M Gay.
So I think it's Matt.
Okay. Do you want to know for sure? I can click on it.
Yeah.
It's Matt.
Nailed it.
2 for 2, 100%.
Boom. Nailing Stump Daniel.
This is where fantasy football gets tricky, though, because
Okay.
Andrew has two of the guys playing against me
Yeah.
that I have on my team playing against Daniel in the other league.
Uh-oh.
So Keenan
And
Allen,
I have Tyler Lockett
yeah,
against you.
yeah,
But
and
you
I
have Tyler Lockett
playing against
Andrew.
So there's a lot of mixed emotions about who does what in these games.
Oh, there goes Kittle.
Again?
Oh, wait, no. Was that a replay or did he just score another touchdown?
He did score
he
another
did, yep.
touchdown. That holy cow, that must have been a long one. Now I have 31 points just from Kittle.
Shoot, did
And
I not play Kittle against you?
You have Kittle. I
Kittle
forgot
on your
about that.
bench?
Well, I also have Travis Kelce. See,
And you're not playing both of them?
You get,
we
there's
don't have a
there's
flex.
No flex spot.
Oh, I didn't play him. I played Kelce.
We literally started this league.
Before flex was a thing.
I think I started this league like 18 years ago.
Kittle's got
And
26 points on my bench. No.
That makes me very happy.
Well, I feel better about my bad day.
So
Bad
let's
fantasy
now
day.
let me
Bad
give you an
beat.
update on my matchup with Daniel, which
Okay.
at this moment Daniel is projected to beat me 96 to 93. I do have Russ going.
Gosh.
And you have Lockett. So as long as Russ is then this is the trick, because I want Russ to throw touchdown passes to Lockett for my other league, but not for this league. Maybe it would be best if I just put it down, because as we discussed earlier, I sometimes believe that my rooting can affect what actually happens
Exactly.
in NFL games.
Yeah,
so I'm
it
just
does.
I'm gonna set this aside so that I don't stress out about it.
Did your rooting, and I'm sure due to your outfit,
You said doo-doo.
doo-doo, that how did your rooting help the North Carolina Tar Heels today?
I would say it helped them a lot because I was doing grocery / Christmas shopping.
I thought you were going to say grocery crapping.
Grocery and Christmas shopping today.
So Christmas
and I was
shopping?
trying to, it's amazing how much access there is to sports now. Like I can literally just pull up a game on my phone and watch it at any time.
And all three of us are watching the game while we're doing the show right now.
So the Tar Heels basketball game was scheduled to be on ESPN at noon.
Okay.
But there was a Formula 1 race.
Oh,
that went long.
Formula 1?
Formula 1.
So
race that went long.
Oh no.
But like a lot of times they'll delay the basketball games or whatever, but this was a standalone thing. It wasn't part of a tournament. So they just didn't broadcast the first half of the Tar Heels game and I was furious.
Yeah.
So
it wasn't like on ESPN Plus or something?
It was only on ESPN 2.
What about
Weird.
ESPN minus plus?
That might have been on ESPN
You
Plus,
might have been
but
able to access it on ESPN
I don't
Plus.
pay extra for ESPN Plus.
Gotcha.
ESPN division?
I actually did pay extra for ESPN Plus when Braden Dorman was broadcasting a soccer game. I bought ESPN Plus for like a month just so I could watch him broadcast the game.
Nice.
But in the second half, when I was actually able to start watching the game and pay attention, because it was tied at halftime.
Okay.
As soon as I was watching, explosion.
Oh.
Tar Heels get up by 15. I think they won by like 17 points.
Who'd they play?
Georgia Tech.
I thought you were going to say Vanderbilt.
No.
Basically the
Not
same.
Vanderbilt. So it went well.
Good.
Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. My team did not go well, so I'm gonna, unless something drastically changed.
Well, last time I looked,
recently.
Oregon State was losing by 13 to Arizona.
They lost now they're losing by 27.
Oh, that got out of hand fast.
Yeah, don't like that. Ethan Thompson has proven to be way more important than I think anybody thought, and people thought that he was really important. Because they went to the Elite Eight last year, in case y'all forgot, and now they're poopy poop butt soup.
Yeah. Russ just completed a pass.
What? He doesn't do that.
2 yards.
Gosh, to DK, and DK, I put him on my bench.
Why?
Because he's been booty the last, 4 weeks, because Russell can't throw he can't hit the ocean if he fell out of a boat.
That seems like an exaggeration.
He can't catch a cold outside in the winter.
Russ got hit face to face. How is that not a penalty?
Because he's Russ.
Oh, they did call it.
Oh.
They did call it. It was very little contact. It's the kind of thing that's a penalty now that would have never been a penalty 5 years ago.
Gotcha. Probably more yeah. Has it only been 5 years? I feel like things have gotten ridiculous.
I feel like things have escalated, like they've gotten ridiculous over the course of the last probably 15 years. But
Sorry,
the whole
I was just miming.
the whole barely make contact with the head or face of the quarterback, and it's a flag thing.
He did the defender did kind of do like a lunging
Did
motion.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, that's just
So
toxic
it just
masculinity.
made.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. It did look bad.
Did it?
It
Okay.
made it
Yeah.
look worse.
Yeah.
He did like a headbutt motion. And now we ran the ball. Maybe we should just act out what's going on.
Russ
Would
is
that
a
be
good-looking
interesting?
dude. Russ has got like that whole sleepy eye thing he has going on.
Would you stop?
I like
Hey,
the
Seattle, we got a deal.
way. Yeah.
Good night.
Ooh.
Oh,
Jamal Adams is
Oh, you
off.
guys are still about 20 seconds behind.
Jamal
me.
Adams is in the locker
You're
room
gonna
right
like what happens in about 20 seconds.
you're
on your
gonna
phone.
like the way you look. Wait, no, that's Men's Warehouse.
You're gonna like the way Russ looks.
Oh,
He's a good-looking dude.
oh, now I'm seeing the part where you were looking at where you said that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know, just that whole sleepy eye thing.
Third
he's
and
got
two.
Really working
Oh,
for
it's
me.
3rd and 2. So Russ is gonna check it deep.
Mm,
That's what he usually. Oh, he didn't. Oh, ooh, the rookie.
D. Eskridge with the catch and run.
Good, nice to see him. So, people watching us live know where we're at in the game, and where we're at in the show sheet is a commercial break. Attack Andrew.
Rude. That was out of line. Do you have a legal situation and need someone on your side? Let the law office of Jeffrey A. Damashevitz be your advocate. If you've been the victim of medical malpractice, suffered a personal injury, or need representation with real estate law, small business law, or estate planning, let Jeff Damashevitz put his 29 years of experience to work for you. Call Jeff Damashevitz today at 360-612-3991 or visit damashevitzlaw.com. That's DAMASIEWICZLAW.com. Another roughing the passer call.
You know, it'd be nice having timeouts at the end of the half when you're trying to score with 21 seconds
I
left.
think if the
That'd be pretty
49ers just keep roughing Russ, we're going to be fine.
Yeah, but time will eventually run out, right?
And again, that's just a high tackle.
And Russ will get hurt eventually, right?
If he doesn't, oh man, see, these plays are so hard. So this is, I feel so bad for defensive players on this because
Roughing the passer.
I have a feeling Russ is about to throw a touchdown.
Really? I have a feeling that they're going to be stupid and give it to Adrian Peterson to score again. And nobody has him on their fantasy
that would
team.
make me so happy.
I'm sure somebody has Peterson on their fantasy team. Oh, yeah, it's got to be hard when you're like one of these freak 6'5" defensive linemen and you tackle shorty short Russell Wilson.
That's kind of what I was leading into because, although I'm glad that it happened because it's a 49ers penalty, which led to my prediction of Russell Wilson throwing a touchdown pass, which you'll see in a minute if that happens or not.
You keep an amazingly straight face, sir. Remind me not to play poker with you.
I have played poker.
D'Eskridge.
Yep, touchdown. Okay, so...
Hey, we finally got something out of our first pick in the draft.
Yeah, very nice.
Also, I farted a little bit. Did you hear that?
I did
when
not.
I got excited?
I did not.
I should not have mentioned
Sometimes
it.
I think your phone causing buzzing on the microphones covered it up.
So what do you think about the fact that we want these guys who are, most of them are about 100 pounds heavier and often are 4 to 6 inches taller than the quarterbacks.
Well, not the quarterbacks, because quarterbacks generally is a tall position.
There's a lot more quarterbacks in that 5'11 to 6'2 range than there's ever been.
Because of Russell Wilson.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of times you see the defensive linemen stand next to the quarterbacks. They're massive.
Yeah.
So we're going to have these 290-pound guys who are some of the strongest people in the world go up against a 350-pound guy who's another one of the strongest people in the world, battle violently with them, but then when you get to the quarterback, I want you to change everything about what you've done for the last 6 seconds and ease up a little bit.
Yep.
It feels so unreasonable.
And also, if you're tackling a running back if receivers get special treatment too. But if you're cackling that running back, you tackle him as hard as you can and plow him into the ground. But if you're tackling the quarterback, hit him and then take your hands off and brace yourself.
Yeah.
Don't.
Right. And then sometimes, even if you hit the quarterback and you put your hands down to brace yourself, you still get the roughing the passer call. I've seen that happen a couple times this year already.
Didn't we see that happen recently?
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where, like, I'm glad that the NFL protects the quarterback, and I think I defend those calls more often than a lot of people do.
Yeah.
But it's getting pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. But you understand it.
I do.
Because then we see injuries happen, and we're like, we don't like it when people get hurt.
That's true.
Especially when we're watching high school games, you know? You're like, every injury just makes me feel so awful.
Speaking of high school games.
That's where we're at in the show sheet.
Yeah.
We're going to skip the athlete of the week, too, because we're just skipping sponsored sections. No, I'm just kidding. But we are going to...
We'll circle back to it.
We're going to circle back to it because we got a tough choice to make. There's a few players. So we're going to get going on the local sports roundup, which is basically just a basketball roundup.
Andrew Troh.
Yeah. Here's
accounted
one of them.
for nearly 70% of Aberdeen's scoring as the Bobcats defeated Elma 39-34 on Friday in Elma. Troh scored 27 points, 17 in the second half to help the Bobcats overcome a 9-point halftime deficit.
Yeah, that's one of the kids we're looking at. 27 of his team's 39 points there. Hoquiam found some offense, but struggled to slow down Centralia and lost in a 77-54 loss on Friday in Hoquiam. Michael Lorton Watkins scored 19 points to lead Hoquiam, which broke 50 points after managing just 38 in a season-opening loss to Willapa Valley on Tuesday.
The Raymond boys hosted Montesano on Wednesday and came away with a 73-41 win, which I was there. It was pretty much a wire-to-wire domination. Seydel for Raymond, man, I'm telling you, this kid is really talented. He had 45 points and 14 rebounds as the Seagulls opened up a blah, 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 blah. There was more there, but I'm not going to read it all. Seydel.
Wait, there was more there? I don't even think I have more there.
Yeah. Well, there was more there, but because it's repetitive and it says 73-4.
Oh, whoops.
Which I'm guessing was the typo.
Yeah.
So I just made the mistake of just reading it instead of actually, doing the work of reading it beforehand and planning what I was going to say.
Whoops.
But Seydel, 35 points. This kid, this is the first time I've watched him play, so I don't know if this is like who he is or he just had an amazing day. He's very quick. He's very athletic. He's very strong. And he was scoring at all three levels. You know, knocking down shots from the outside, jumping into the mid-range, hitting floaters, getting to the basket, drawing fouls. He had an incredible game. I came away from this one really, really impressed by Trey Seydel.
Another one of our candidates for Athlete of the Week there. Moving on, Xander Prigmore led Acosta over PL with 20 points, hitting 6 field goals in a row, I believe, and going 8 for 11 from the free throw line and grabbing 11 rebounds in the game. I can read. They won 51-35.
3 North Beach players scored in double figures to lead the Hyaks to a 75-30 victory over Lake Quinault on Friday in Ocean Shores. Josh Bighead led the way for North Beach with 19 points, 5 rebounds, and 4 assists. Trayvon Green added 17 points, 8 boards, and 2 blocks, while Daniel Castaneda added 12 points for North Beach. Big win for the Hyaks.
In girls basketball, Aberdeen took down Elma 47-22. Maddie Gore, she's going to be a star for that squad, scored 18 points to lead Aberdeen to that victory over Elma on Friday in Aberdeen. And again, keep an eye out for Maddie Gore. She is a heck of a player.
And for the Hoquiam girls, 2 big 3-pointers in the final minute of the game gave Hoquiam a 42-39 victory over Black Hills on Thursday at Hoquiam Square Garden. The Grizzlies rallied from down multiple possessions in the fourth quarter and tied the game at 39 when senior guard Charlie Sampson Eastman drilled a 3 with 40 seconds left on the clock. Then on the ensuing possession, Grizzly junior point guard Gracie Bonnie Spradlin fed senior forward Cameron Crone, who nailed a 3-pointer with 3 seconds left to give Hoquiam the victory. I believe that was off an inbound pass. I watched the highlights of these, and it looked like really good positioning. I would say it was a very well set up play to draw the defenders where the Grizzlies wanted them. Shout out Chad Allen there. I know he'll say no, it's the players, but it was a very well designed play to get the open shooter off the inbound to knock down the game-winning shot.
All right, that's going to do it for our local sports roundup, because the last game we're going to talk about, well, Justin and I had the pleasure to cover together, so we'll have a lot to talk about this game, and also it contains...
I've got an update on the Saskatchewan Rough Riders and Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Okay.
They're just going into the fourth quarter. The Rough Riders are up 17-14 over the Blue Bombers.
Ruh-roh.
And Adam Big Hill is leading the Bombers in tackles with 5.
Nice.
So we root
also
for Adam Big Hill
yes.
because he's a Montesano grad. Also, he has been on our show a few times doing interviews with us, and he's had a great CFL career, and he's kind of on the tail end of it at this point, but going for another Grey Cup with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
What are you talking about? He's still young. He's my age, dang it.
Yeah.
He's got another 10 years.
Yeah.
And also, quick update, I forgot to throw this in there. Joel Blanco won the Defensive Player of the Game award in the AAC title game against Houston. He had 2 sacks and an interception.
Tackles.
And seven tackles.
Yeah, and the interception
Was pretty.
Go find, if you haven't seen it yet, go find the highlight. It's not hard to find. It's all over Twitter. I think Daniel, did you share it from our page as well?
I shared his interview, which I think had a replay of it, but yeah, I didn't share the actual video yet.
I didn't get to watch that whole game, but I did watch in the third quarter while Cincinnati was building that huge lead, because it actually was pretty close in the first half.
Yeah.
But there was a stretch where Cincinnati scored, got the ball back, scored, got the ball back, scored. And then all of a sudden it turned into more of a blowout. But Joel, at a very pivotal point in the game when Cincinnati was only up 1 score, they were using him as a quarterback spy because Houston has a quarterback that was really mobile and they were nervous about him being able to run. And so Joel's kind of hanging out at the line of scrimmage, following where the quarterback's going. He got his sacks on extended plays where he ends up just sort of slowly creeping up and then converging on the quarterback at the last moment. The interception, he's around the line of scrimmage, reads the quarterback's eyes, sees what he's going to do, drops back really quickly, and reaches up and just snags the ball in midair, in mid-throw. It was really, really impressive play.
It was really nice. And he wins the Defensive Player of the Game, but that's not good enough to win our Athlete of the Week. No, I'm just kidding. But he won it last week, and we're going to mix it up a bit. So we have 3 different players that I like here. Justin, both of you guys. One of them is named Andrew. That's why I messed that up. Andrew Troe with the 27 of his team's 39 points. He's a heck of a player for Aberdeen. Mm-hmm. You also have Trey Seydel, who had 35 points and 14 rebounds against Montesano. both of those have some different qualifiers in there. One of them is that's a blowout. So he had a monster game, but it was a blowout. So that's kind of doesn't help you out as much.
But it also is a win against a team from a higher class.
That's true. And then with the Aberdeen game, we only have his point total there for Andrew. So he had 27 points. He did have 17 of those in the second half. So that does help Andrew against Elma. But in this last one, it's got some good multipliers, man.
Yeah.
So the game we covered was, oh, there that goes again. We had McKynnlie Dalan against Raymond and against Kyra Gardner. Note the pronunciation change from when we've previously talked about Kyra there. In a heck of a game that we covered because Montesano was down 18-5 after the first quarter. They come back. I wouldn't say stormed back. Gradually grinded back.
It's kind of a slow burn.
Yeah, they grinded back into that game, and McKynnlie Dalan had 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 steals in this one, and really was just an absolute beast in every way possible. And by the way, they only won 54-51, so she's got some good multipliers there. So this is a tough decision.
And she was the one who scored the bucket that gave Montesano its first lead.
Yes.
With I think it was 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And it gave Monty the 51-50 lead or whatever it was. Yeah. And they kind of traded buckets for a little bit before the end of the game. But yeah, that was, and I should mention, now we're talking about McKynnlie Dalan, that play where Dalan hit the bucket to give Monty its first lead and the gym just erupted. Michaela Stanfield set her up incredibly well because she got to the short corner, drew the defender with a pump fake, and then from the baseline did a wraparound bounce pass, which is really difficult from the spot she was in, and put it in the exact perfect spot where McKynnlie could just in rhythm take the bounce pass, go up, and make the easy layup. Yeah. So really great job by Michaela Stanfield to set McKynnlie up, but Dalan in this game was absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. And Stanfield also had a good game. She had, I can't remember if it was 5 or 6 points, but she also had 9 rebounds. Paige Leisherness had a double-double for Montesano. She had 11 points and 11 rebounds. On the other side, you had some pretty massive performances as well as Carson Freeman had 16 points.
Freshman.
Yeah, freshman, but yet second-year freshman because she was an all-league player last year as an 8th grader. That's just ridiculous. And Kyra Gardner had 16 points, 9 steals, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and 4 blocks. Whew. Wow. The only bummer was she was kind of cold from the outside and couldn't get anything going in the fourth quarter when they needed her to, but you could see that even though she was struggling scoring, how I'm sure she's used to, she did everything else to try and help her team in this game. And hopefully I don't see anybody saying, oh man, she's so overrated. Because
I haven't seen it.
Good, because from everything that I saw, she looks like a stud who just kind of had a cold shooting night.
Yeah, Daniel, you and I
and
were
she
both,
still had 16 points. And I'm like, cold shooting night.
I know.
This guy.
And you and I were really excited to watch Kyra play because we've talked about her a lot on the show, having never actually watched, but just seeing the stats that, holy cow, this girl's really talented. She's committed to Washington State University to play basketball, so we know she's really good. I think just, even though, like you mentioned, there were some shots that she probably would have normally hit and that she didn't hit. She also hit a couple shots that I was like, wow, that's a next level shot. Like she had one pump fake, jab step back 3-pointer that was out on the left wing, and I was like, holy cow, I don't know a lot of girl players at this level who are making that. And then she hit one 3-pointer on the right wing where it was like pass, casual shot, but she's all the way in the corner and just
fading,
flushed it, nothing but the bottom of the net. That was really impressive. So you could kind of see where the shooting skill was and where her ability to create and get her shot was. But I felt like watching just the entirety of her game, watching the way she played defense, watching her get all those steals. Even perhaps more impressively to me is the way she seemed to just have a feel for the game on offense, floor vision, precision passing. She really set up her teammates with incredible opportunities several times with slick, quick passes right into the shooter's pocket. So I came away from it. Yeah, she didn't score as much as I thought she might or hit all the shots that I thought she might. I came away from it going, that's a next level player.
And she single-handedly broke the Bulldogs out of their press, which usually works really well for Montesano, because Montesano's defense, I think, is like Dalan's great on offense. Leisherness is good. Like, they have good offensive players, but I think the team defense that Montesano has is probably the strongest point of their team from what I've seen them last couple of years. The athleticism that they have, and usually when you see them press people, they don't get broken by one player dribbling through them every time and then passing it to someone for an easy lay-in. But the last time I saw someone dribble through a press like that with that seeming ease and regularity was Evan Newton, when we saw it do it for Hoquiam when he was a junior, I think. And
it's
it was
the
just
only
like,
other name that really comes to mind.
right? Where it just by himself dribbles past like 3 or 4 people and then dishes it to someone for an easy lane.
And I think a lot, like, she is a great ball handler, but to me, a lot of that is just savvy and understanding of the game. Like, there are people that as you watch them play the game, you think not only can they see where everything is right now, they can like project a second into the future and just have a feel for where everybody's going to be 1 second from now. And that's the way I felt watching her play. I was really impressed. But you mentioned with Montesano, the way their defense is and how strong it is when you have a front line that's 5'11", 6'1", 5'11", and they're all athletic and strong, and they're all long. That makes things really difficult getting to the lane. Yeah. Which that's Michaela Stanfield on a wing, McKynnlie Dalan at center, and then Paige Leisherness on the other wing, or whatever mix they use there, which made what Carson Freeman did even more impressive to me, because when we were broadcasting, I said at the beginning of the game, man, it's going to be really tough for these little guards of Raymond to get into the paint and shoot over the trees, over the towers, because Dalan's a great rim protector, a great defensive player in the paint. But Carson Freeman seemed to have, she knew the exact right moment to release the shot and how to release the shot, where she was going into the lane and hitting floaters and runners with pretty good regularity.
Yeah, 3 or 4 at least, where she was driving into the lane and then pulling up in that mid-range section perfectly
Very
over.
impressive.
And yet it was, I feel like, the shift that finally got Montesano over the top, because we mentioned they were just kind of grinding back. But the biggest shift, when it seemed like they made the change that pushed them over the top to complete that comeback, was when head coach Mark Mansfield made the decision. I'm not sure if he, I'm not on the bench. Who knows whose idea it was, but I'm going to give him the credit as making the decision to go from a 2-3 zone, which they usually play, to a 3-2 zone. And it seemed like Raymond knew how to combat the 2-3, even though it was difficult because Monty's defense is really good and they're really suited well for it. As you mentioned, those 3 long players down low, and then usually they have speed up top, whether it's Maya Young, Vanna Prom, and Jaden King. Very good, aggressive top defenders on a 2-3 zone. Yeah. But at some point they shifted into a 3-2 zone, and I think they put Stanfield up top as well. And that just little strategy change really seemed like Raymond didn't have the strategic answer to it.
Well, it definitely made it harder for Gardner to have any space on the outside, whether it was to shoot or to drive, because not only did she have tough man defense in the zone on her whenever she had the ball, but there was always another defender ready to shadow over and take away that lane that she wanted to drive to. And you mentioned that it was a switch to a 3-2, but they broke out of the full court press and they went to this, like, it was heavy ball pressure in half court. So it was almost like a half court press 3-2, really intense, like really putting pressure on the ball on the outside. And that did, although Raymond still managed to score some points off of it, but it slowed them down big time from what they were doing early in the game, which the other big factor was Montesano turned the ball over like crazy to start the game. Yeah. Tons of transition buckets for Raymond, and the Bulldogs really buttoned that up, especially in the second half.
Absolutely. So we've talked a lot about the strategy of that game still, and we talked about Dalan a little bit, but what I saw from her was she got stronger throughout the game too. And I think a lot of that was less turnovers, obviously, but I can't remember the tally you had of how many offensive rebounds Montesano had.
It was something like 25.
It was ridiculous.
In the game. It was a crazy
They
amount.
were grinding on the boards offensively like crazy, and McKynnlie had a ton of those offensive rebounds, and then she started converting them into putback buckets, and she scored more in the fourth quarter than she did in any other quarter. She had more steals in the fourth quarter than she had in any other quarter. She probably had close to this, like, She had more rebounds and that. Like, she played better in the fourth quarter than any other to get that win. So I was just super impressed by what I saw from her, especially since last time we saw her play, she was a freshman because she was basically hurt all of last season. And so to see her come out this junior year healthy, play that strong was really exciting to watch, especially when you look at Paige Leisherness is the returning league MVP.
Yeah.
And from what I saw from McKynnlie that night was league MVP caliber.
Right.
You could potentially have two kids on the same team who could be league MVPs. That's going to be a dangerous, dangerous Montesano team. Now, that said, is that enough for Athlete of the Week over 35 points and 14 rebounds? Because 35 points is a lot.
And I'm telling you, man, he was hitting. He did not miss much. He was incredible.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Do we need a vote?
I think we might need to vote.
Andrew, what's your vote?
I vote between who?
35
Sorry,
points.
I've been watching Seahawks and Rough Riders Winnipeg. So
No,
The Seahawks are in the red zone right now.
The Seahawks came
and
back.
they also just converted a 3rd and 2 with a quick pass to DK.
Weird.
Yeah.
I just
So
brought
now
the
they've
game
got
back
another,
on.
They've got another 3rd and 4 coming up here, and I'm really curious to see what Waldron dials up on this one.
I think I might have caught up to
The
you.
Blue
by getting
Bombers. The Blue Bombers took the lead back. They're now up 21-17 with 7.5 minutes left.
Let's go. Adam Big Hill on the Blue Bombers.
Big Hill just got another tackle.
Yes. Big Hill with the Blue Bombers beating the
Yeah.
Rough Riders. I'm
But
just
by
gonna
the way,
put on.
like this is
Oh. Uh-oh. Is that a good shocked face by Justin or a bad shocked face?
this is the 10th
Oh my goodness.
year.
Oh no! What are you? This season for the Seahawks is ridiculous.
If you're listening to the podcast, what just happened was Russell hits Gerald Everett in the hand/chest with what should have been a touchdown catch.
Didn't he have a fumble earlier
At
too?
the
Oh
goal
my
line,
gosh.
at the goal line,
And then
easy
he-
touchdown catch. He bobbles it, and not only drops it, he bobbles it to a defensive player, and the 49ers pick it off. The Seahawks were about to take the lead.
He
and
literally
Everett was
kicked
like,
it.
"Here you go, have the ball."
He bobbled it and then kicked it up in the air. And that's doubly worse because he's on my fantasy team.
And that's bad for me too, though, because I have Russ, and that's a pick.
Oh, that's a pick on Russ. They need to change the rules. If a receiver literally derps the ball to the other team, they need to switch that.
I think they just need to cut Gerald Everett already.
Yeah.
Do you remember last season when I was cutting a tight end every week?
Yeah, that was good times.
If they had
feel
listened
like
to me,
you
they'd
cut
have no tight
multiple
ends
tight
left.
ends.
Anyway,
I cut
yeah.
a different tight end every week.
So Andrew, 35 points, 14 rebounds for a B school player in a win over an A school team, but it was a blowout, 73-41. Or 24 points, 15 rebounds, 5 steals in a close game, but the bigger school beat the smaller school in a close game, 54-51. But it was also bigger school without a Division I commit over the smaller school with a Division I commit.
The second one.
Okay. Can you see that I was
So Andrew's vote is for McKynnlie Dalan.
Yeah.
Do we need to vote?
I mean, I was going to vote for the kid from Raymond because my biases are starting to show more and more here. I've made so many Monty graphics that I'm running out of ways to do it. Dang it.
You know what the funny thing is, Daniel? When I watched Trey Seydel play on Wednesday and annihilate my Bulldogs,
Yeah.
I was like, no way anybody's doing anything to take Athlete of the Week from this kid. Like, after I watched that game, I was like, this is it. He's going to be the Athlete of the Week. And then we watched McKynnlie play and the Bulldogs play against Raymond on Friday, and I was like, dang it, she might have just done it.
Yep.
She might have just yoinked it out of his hands. Much wanted, desired. What's the word I'm looking for here? The Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week award is what every high school athlete wants.
Absolutely.
And Trey Seydel, when he got done with that game, in his head he was going, dang, guys, I could be Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
Absolutely.
And then he heard what McKynnlie Dalan did on Friday, and he was like, curse you, Bulldogs.
Yeah. Even
See,
though
and
I
that's the
beat
other
you,
thing.
the Bulldogs.
Is it an escalator that the Bulldog girls, avenged the loss of the Bulldog boys, both against Raymond?
I'm sure they cared a lot about that. I'm sure McKynnlie then went over to Caden Lovell and was like, I got you. I'm sure that's how that worked, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So, yeah, McKynnlie Dalan is our Ole Penn Real Estate Athlete of the Week.
You don't even want to hear my vote?
Oh. I thought you just said it.
I vote McKynnlie Dalan.
Oh, shocker. Shocker. Okay. Yep. For her 24 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 steals. I think she also had 3 assists in that win against the Raymond Seagulls. It was a great game. And Andrew, it is time for a commercial break.
Okay, well, before the commercial break,
Okay.
I just want to point out that Adam Big Hill is in his 10th season,
Ooh.
which, as Justin was saying, he's been playing for a long time. He's still tied for 8th in the Canadian Football League in total tackles.
And he leads his
He
team.
is, and he's leading his team. He has been so good for a decade.
That's crazy.
It's awesome.
And
It's
he took a
super
little
awesome.
break to try in the NFL. Did
Yeah.
he miss a season doing that?
I don't believe he missed a full season, did he?
I thought he did.
Oh, maybe he did.
I thought he did.
But
I could be wrong.
I thought that he came back towards the end of that season and got signed.
That's very
But-
possible.
Yeah, because I'm sure like every team. Oh, did we just get a safety but also a face mask?
I don't know. My game's
Dunlap calls
my
it a
game
safety.
froze. My game froze.
Oh, my brother also texted me and said those should not count as INTs for Russell Wilson.
Oh, all Hargroves think alike.
Yep.
More
Wait, do we?
Same
more
person,
outbursts from
basically.
Daniel
Do we-
after these messages.
At Ole Penn Real Estate, we have solidified our foundation on 4 core values. First, we continuously focus on growing our knowledge in the market and in our practices to bring the highest level of competency to our clients. Second, we provide a high level of integrity, compassion, and kindness in every aspect of our business. Third, we put the human element above business through humor, enthusiasm, and patience. And last but not least, we proactively respond to the needs of our clients. Our mission is to create a personal real estate experience, one person and one home at a time. With Ole Penn, it's personal.
The more I think about this Gerald Everett play, the more pissed off I am.
Right.
That was an 8-point swing for my team.
Yeah.
Well,
It should be a touchdown for us. Instead, it's an interception.
I like it.
Dang you, Everett. You're cut.
Would have been
I like
a
him.
catch and a touchdown for my tight end in one of my leagues. I think in my poopy poop butt soup team.
Well, I only want you to win in that one. I'm always rooting for you, Daniel.
Thank you.
To correct the record, Justin was correct. Big Hill did not play in the CFL in the 2017 season, so this is his 9th season in 10 years.
Gotcha.
So he didn't play for the CFL in the 2017 season. He was on the Saints, I believe.
Yes, he was. Practice squad. I think he hopped on, maybe was active for a game. I can't remember exactly. Carlos Dunlap, by the way, with that safety, didn't get the face mask, grabbed the shoulder, and that's the first time that Dunlap's done anything this season. So that was kind of nice.
I didn't get to watch it.
Oh,
We were having trouble playing this, is what my phone says.
that's sad. All right, so I threw a Mariners little thing in here before we get to the mailbag, and that was that the
Can
Mariners.
we talk about? I thought we couldn't talk about baseball because of the lockout. Isn't that
I think we're allowed to.
Oh,
Well,
we
before
are
the
allowed to. Okay.
before the lockout, we'll make it brief in case somebody attacks us because they're locked out. The Mariners signed. Oh, shoot, I forgot his first name. Robbie? Is it Robbie Ray?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
they
so,
signed
yeah.
Robbie Ray, the Cy Young Award winner, seemingly out of nowhere. And I'm a little worried that they bought high on this because the year before he had the highest ERA
Yeah.
in the
The
league.
first, when I typed in Robbie Ray, because I'm full disclosure, I had no idea who he was.
Same here.
So when I typed in his name, the first headline that pops up is how Robbie Ray went from being the worst statistical pitcher in the MLB one season to winning the Cy Young the next season.
Yeah.
And I look back at his stats, not a lot of impressive seasons. He had a couple good ones in there.
So
But he's 30 years old, I think, right? 31?
Something. Yeah, he's 30 right now, I think.
Yeah. So it feels like, okay, no, that's a good signing, and I'm glad they did it.
Yeah.
But it's not like if they had signed insert pitcher name here. Who's a really good
Stroman.
pitcher.
We'll go with Stroman from
Sure.
the Mets.
I just on the other side of it, like reasons to be optimistic, maybe he apparently changed a ton. Like it wasn't just he randomly played better. He's known for having super tight pants, and apparently that's because he didn't change his pants size.
What?
And he got bigger. Like he's well known.
So he's
apparently
stupid.
Wait,
for
this
having-
is serious.
Yes.
So he's
I'm
dumb.
dead serious.
He's known for having
He is known for having super tight pants. And the reason that he has super tight pants is because his pants he hadn't got new pants, and he was getting tons of crap from
So
his
he's
teammates.
dumb.
And so he was like, "Screw you! I'm just gonna keep them tight."
Oh, nice block, Rashad Penny.
I liked the story.
Eskridge with another catch. That's hilarious, but also he's kind of dumb, right?
That sounds dumb.
I've gotten really big. Maybe I should get a new pair of pants.
Why?
Because they're too tight.
So maybe
Or
you don't
are
understand
they?
how clothes work, Andrew. Usually, if you grow, you get larger sizes, and if you shrink, you get smaller sizes.
You're taking the wrong thing away from this. The point is that he got enough bigger that his pants got tighter
That's a good
because
point.
he was
Okay.
working out.
Okay, that's true,
it
and he
wasn't-
did make some
It
changes.
was gaining weight in a good way.
Yeah, not like Diego Castilco.
Not like the way I've gained weight.
or me.
Yeah, Justin, you might be confused about how clothes work. It's not just the belt part that can get too tight. It's his pants are tight in the legs.
What do you mean?
Oh, like how Andrew's pants are always tight.
Right.
Oh,
Which is why I kind of appreciated his story.
Gotcha. Okay. But yeah,
My calves
anyway.
are bigger than yours.
So the Seahawks still are assumed. I don't know what you just said. 'cause
said
was
I
talking-
bet my calves are bigger than yours. I don't know why that was important to say. It's just toxic masculinity at its best.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, Russ just missed DK for a touchdown.
Oh, Russ.
You missed him for not a touchdown, you mean?
He missed him for what could have been a touchdown,
There
but
you go.
ended up not being a touchdown.
Chucked it. Hucked
Yeah,
it.
he threw it out of
Oh,
bounds.
he threw it out of bounds.
Threw it out of bounds. Yeah, no shot. No shot.
Brutal.
That was an uncompetitive pass, by the way.
Okay, so anyway, yeah, Mariners. Ray seems awesome. I still want them to get a big bat. We shall see.
They also didn't overpay for him.
Yeah,
right?
that's the
They might be buying high, but they didn't.
They didn't give him like 8 years, and yeah, no, it's not oodles. So you can understand. I like the deal overall. I'm a little worried that they bought high, but I think
100% with you.
I like it. So, all right, that's I think that's all we need to say there because again, MLB's locked out, so we're not allowed to talk about anything. Oh, Russell just got bum rushed in the face.
I did
No
find
shot.
in-
That was like an old school Seahawks play where he takes the snap and gets sacked.
I did find and retweet the video of Joel DeBlanco
Nice.
getting the interception.
Okay, good.
Sweet.
Did you
So
share
that's
it on
our
the
Twitter.
Facebook?
I did not share it on Facebook because I don't know how to log on to Facebook.
I love that.
It's the same way you log on to everything else.
All right, so
You enter the username, you enter the password. Bada bing, bada boom.
Andrew looks confused.
And then
Maybe
it
he doesn't know
asks
how
you
to.
tons of questions.
Do you know about computers?
people.
I think Andrew doesn't know how to spell Facebook.
That's part of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
anything from the mailbag? I think I noticed some things before I switched over to the.
I just typed 2 things in here because I didn't have anything. But
Okay.
there were 2 things that one of them I'm curious if you guys can tell me whether or not I did the wrong thing here.
Most likely.
And then the other
just
one
gonna
was
say
just a
yes.
fun story for something that happened at Wednesday's Montesano Raymond boys game.
Okay, storyline controversy. Is that where we're starting?
Store line. So I'm going to tell you. So
I was filling in a blank there. I half read it, and when your brain just inserts a letter,
yeah,
like those weird things you see on Facebook where people spell things all janky, but you still read it correctly.
right.
Yeah.
So I do a weird thing when I write sometimes, and
Okay.
I've noticed that this is not part of the store line controversy. This is a completely separate issue. Tell me if you guys do this, because I didn't realize I was doing it until one day I consciously realized, holy crap, I do this all the time.
Okay.
When I'm writing words,
Yeah, like with a pen.
yeah, with a pen or a pencil or whatever, I'll write like almost all the letters and then go back and put in a letter in the middle of the word.
No,
like if I was writing Daniel,
Yeah.
I might write Daiel, then go back and write the N. But I leave a space for it.
That's
See,
odd.
that's a little. That's
I don't think
weird.
I could do that very well if I were trying.
But I did it without realizing I was doing it. I'm just like, boom. So weird.
That's weird. I do something similar where a lot of times I'll start writing, but I'll start with like the wrong letter in a word. So if I was writing Justin, I would be like N. Oh shoot, and then
then
I'd have
fill
to
in
go
the
with
rest of the word.
Justia. Yeah. So I'll have to. I'll
Interesting.
start with And so I think it's a form of dyslexia or something that you get from that. Because I struggle with that a lot, where I'm just like, oh, and D, A-N-D.
Okay,
yeah.
I could see it.
But
All right, so anyway, here's what happened to me
Fascinating
today
stuff.
when I was shopping.
Okay. Oh, store line.
I told this...
Daniel understands the words.
Okay, so I'm at a store.
Did you punch someone?
No. I'm at a store.
Did you get punched?
No.
Oh.
Okay.
I did almost get beat up yesterday, but that's a completely separate issue. I'll tell you guys off air.
Okay.
Can't share that story on the pod. Sorry, listeners. So I was at a store. I'll just say it was Target. So
Okay.
Target
Target.
That's what I was going to say.
Target in Olympia, and they have this setup where there's like 10 checkers, but there's a back row and a front row. So in theory, one line has 2 checkers in it. But despite the fact that the store was crazy busy,
Yeah.
they only had 4 checkers open, and they were all on the back row.
Of course.
So there's really long lines.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting in one, and I didn't have my wife with me because she was like, hey, I'll go to the Starbucks and get us coffee. I'll meet you on the other side. So I'm by myself in the line. I'm in everyone's...
I'll meet you on the other side.
Yeah.
Not of death. Not of death. Just the other
Like,
side
you're
of the
going to
of
be
the check
here
stand.
for so long. I'm going to get coffee and
So-
move on with my life.
Yeah. And then, so the way it's set up is you have the 5 different check stands, and then there's a self-checkout thing on the end.
Real
So,
quick,
yeah.
just to get our obligatory message in here, is Starbucks, much like Mariano Rivera, the most overrated coffee there is?
It absolutely is.
Okay.
But it's still good.
But it's
Just
the most
overrated.
Okay, cool.
Like basically the same as Mariano
Yeah.
Rivera,
Yeah.
most overrated athlete in the history of all sports.
yes.
Yes.
And he's
Good call.
But he's good.
Good
But
reliever.
he's still the most
Overrated,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
You nailed that. Good job.
Perfect.
So as I'm
Nicely
waiting
done.
in one of these lines, and I realize, wait a minute, there's 3 lines. There's 4 check stands open. What's going on that other one?
Yeah.
And as I'm looking through, and I'm in the way because I'm way so far back in the line that people are trying to walk behind me to
Yeah.
get in where there's actually items to buy.
Yep.
And I look over and I realize people aren't going to that last line because the self-checkout line is curving out and blocking it.
Okay.
So I'm like,
Oh.
And
could
the person
just-
isn't calling people over?
there's someone in the front of it, but there's
Okay.
no line behind them.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I didn't realize what was happening. So I'm like, I'm just going to kind of shimmy my way in over there. And I
Yeah.
walked over and I was like, excuse me. I get past the people who are waiting for self-checkout
Yeah.
very politely.
Yeah.
And I get up to the front of that line, one person in front of me, boom. I cut my wait time from 15 minutes to 1 minute.
Nice.
Then I realized what was happening
Uh-oh.
was the people in the third line, because
Yeah.
you couldn't get to that fourth line because it was blocked, people in the third line were getting down to the end of it and then splitting into 2.
Well, that just sounds like their problem.
That's okay. So you're making me feel like I did the right thing
I
because
you
I
did
got
the right thing, but the whole system is set up wrong.
Agreed.
Like
Yeah.
Target has set.
they
that
really
system up
should
wrong.
have
Yeah.
just had 8 checkers open and then this wouldn't have been a problem.
Well,
but
yeah.
when I
Or
got
one
down
line
to
for
the
all the
end
checkers.
and I'm on the front line and I'm next in line waiting to go, and all of a sudden I had no idea I did something wrong in these people's eyes.
Yeah.
And I hear people behind me in the other line start talking about it. Oh, that guy thinks he can just go up there and cut and oh yeah, you're the only genius that thought that we were all just waiting here for no reason. Whatever. So I'm hearing this, but nobody's saying anything to me.
Of course
it's
not,
just
'cause
all
it's Washington.
passive aggressive
Yeah.
mumbling.
Yeah.
And I turned around and I honestly did not even consider it a possibility.
Yeah.
So there was a split second where I thought, oh, I'll just go get back in the back of the other line because
Yeah.
I don't really want to ruin these people's day or cause anybody any issues.
Yeah.
But what happened was when I went, 3 other people followed me.
Yes.
So now I'm in this line and there's 3 other carts in this line that got in
Yep.
behind me. And so now I'm stuck and I'm like,
That's when
Did I do
everybody
something
else.
wrong?
No, in my
Okay.
opinion, you did not, because that's how all of the checkers line worked. Like you mentioned, lines 1 and 2.
yeah.
They weren't going all into one and then
Nope.
splitting off at
They
the
were
end.
not.
So whoever came up with this random system was just some random person in a line or a couple of people who were like, "Oh, this is the way it should be done." But there's no rule that I would have done the same thing.
Okay, good.
You get in the line that has the least people.
Andrew?
I think that it's on Target.
Yeah.
Target should be set up their checker lines better.
Yeah, screw you, Target.
Well, what you're
Target.
saying is like what Ross and Marshalls do, where they have like
It's-
a long
well,
line
it's
and they're
just-
like, we have a thing open here,
It's
we have a thing open here.
by far the most efficient way to get people
It is,
checked
but
out.
but most grocery stores are not set up like that.
Target isn't a grocery store.
Well, they're the mix. But most stores like that,
They have groceries
they
there.
just have
Yeah.
a long thing of checkers, and
A lot of stores are not set up that way.
And
I
the
agree.
way they're set up, the way they are, is because they have a crap ton of registers.
Yeah.
So in theory, you have enough people to work those that you don't have to create that system, and that's how they've used their space.
I don't.
But
think
now
I've
they're
s-
using less and less things,
Yeah.
and it's creating this issue. And
I don't think I've seen a store with using more than like a quarter of their checkout.
Drives me
aisles
crazy.
Yeah, they were
in
using
years
4
and
out of
years.
10. They have 10 checkout
Yeah.
spots, and they
Drives
were
me-
using 4
It's
of
like
them.
every time I've been to Walmart there's like 3 lanes open.
Yeah.
And
Now, what you would have, there's another situation that plays off of this. So let's say there's 3 check stands open, and then somebody goes to the 4th one and says, I can help somebody over here. The person who is closest and still able to go should be first in line, not the dill hole in the back who's like, oh, sweet, and runs up there. That, I thought that's kind of what you were going to say. But no, if that person was open and they created their own weird system, that's on them.
Okay, good.
I am adamant
I
about
feel
this.
justified. Actually, you're more passionate about this than I am. Like,
Yeah.
you had an even more positive reaction than
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
So, speaking of positive stories, I wanted to share something that I thought was kind of funny.
Okay.
That happened when I took my family to go watch my son plays for Montesano.
Yep.
So during the JV game, I know that it's like technically right now they don't let kids on the floor at high school games at halftime to shoot around.
Oh, you're going to like this. Russell Wilson passed to Tyler Lockett for a touchdown.
Boom! Points for me, baby.
Also points for me.
Dang it. But points for me against Andrew,
Dang
baby.
it. Dang it.
Okay, so
Oh, what a drop in the bucket. Oh, he dropped that in the bucket.
does anybody drop it in the bucket better than Russ
Oh,
does?
the moon. They call it the moon ball.
Yeah.
Now I'm just reiterating all the cliches that people
Yeah.
talk about with Russell Wilson.
Oh, yeah, that's the bucket right there.
Oh, right in the bucket.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you set up a garbage can right back there in the corner of the end, that would have gone right in the
into
bucket.
it, into the
Yeah,
bucket.
right
If the bucket was in like a bucket inside of a garbage can,
Is it
would have
the-
gone into the bucket.
in that bucket.
Is
of a
it the
can.
same bucket that you step in if you have a bad baseball swing?
Oh. Wow, I haven't
What
heard
does that
that
mean?
drill in a long time.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Well,
I've just heard it.
Andrew's referring to a drill when you are a little kid. If you struggle with stepping out, like because you're afraid of the ball,
Uh-huh.
it used to be that people would literally put a bucket behind your front foot. I'm assuming this is what
like a
that-
bucket of
I have
balls.
just
Yeah.
I didn't know that there was a drill involved. I've just heard the phrase stepping in the bucket. Like, hey, stepping in the bucket.
I can't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Then you would put a bucket behind the kid so that if they tried to step back, they would knock over the bucket or step in the bucket.
Okay.
I used to do the same thing because my body still to this day, I'm assuming if I faced an actual baseball, is scared of the freaking hard ball coming at me or in my general vicinity. So what I had to do is I had to do an open stance to force my body going the other direction before it could freak out and go the wrong direction.
I've coached a couple of kids, and this is honestly one of the most difficult things as a coach of youth.
Yeah.
I've coached a couple of kids that would literally run out of the box every time the ball was pitched.
Yeah. It's hard, and you can't blame them.
I totally get it.
And
Yeah,
in their heads, they know logically, all right, I got to stand in
just
here.
so
But there's like
comical.
a fight or flight reflex
Yeah.
that as soon as you see the ball coming, they're standing in there every time going, I'm going to stay in, I'm going to stay in, I'm going to stay in. As soon as they see that ball released off the pitcher's hand, boom, they bail.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking, actually, because then they feel awful about it. And
Yep.
I'm like, hey, it's okay.
Yep.
It's all right. You're going to get through it. You're going to get it. It's just repetition. You need to, get in there, do your best. Let's just make progress. Let's just say for one game, if you can stay in the batter's box, we're going to consider that accomplishment.
I would recommend an open stance in that situation because
I tried that with
I
one of them.
loved being a baseball player, and yet my body was telling me that the ball was going to hit me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I have a whole thing because one year I had a coach force me not to do it, and I had a really terrible year after having my best year, and I have had to, like, work through forgiving that person. Like, I was going through a Bible study book the other day, or like a couple weeks ago, and it said, who are some people that you still are bitter against and you need to forgive? And I started writing down names, and I had some bizarre names on the list. And one of them was that coach. And I was like, wow, I'm still bitter against this person for forcing me to use this bad swing in baseball. And I was like a sophomore.
I'm bitter against some of my childhood baseball coaches too.
We need to forgive them, because you know what bitterness is? It's drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's deep.
I heard it somewhere. It's not me.
You should just take credit for it.
I came up with this great saying. You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Bitterness is drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
That is profound.
Anyway, what were you saying?
So, Monty versus Raymond.
Yes.
JV game.
Okay.
Now, technically during
Peyton is bawling at this
he
point.
played really well.
Yeah.
I was very proud of him. I swear, I'm not exaggerating to say he had more than 20 rebounds.
Nice.
So, halftime of these games used to be a time where, like varsity, JV, whatever, kids would go out, they'd shoot around.
Yeah.
The schools don't really let kids do that anymore. I don't know if that's a COVID thing or if it's more of just a safety thing or what.
Okay.
But pretty much everywhere I've been, they don't let kids go out on the court and shoot anymore. Well, my 12-year-old son was with me, and he was like, Dad, can I bring a basketball? And I was like, well, you can bring it, but you can't go out on the court and shoot during halftime. He's like, oh, no, that's fine. I'll just dribble off to the side, whatever.
Yeah.
So he brings a basketball. Halftime of the JV game, court's totally empty. He's like, Dad, can I go out and shoot? And I was like, no, you can't go out and shoot. He's like, come on, Dad, please. And I was like, I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? Some old guy tells you to get off the court? Yeah, go ahead. Go out and shoot. So he goes out to shoot.
Yeah.
Nobody says anything to him.
Okay. Because it's the JV game.
It's the JV game, but our whole varsity team is up in the stands.
Okay.
And the Raymond student section was huge.
Okay.
And there was a ton of people in the stands.
Okay, so even though it's the JV game, there's a lot of people there.
Small gym, really full.
And he's going to go shoot by himself.
By himself.
I love your son's confidence.
So-
I would have been wetting myself.
And I think he was nervous in the beginning because even like where he usually lives is the mid-range. He's really good at mid-range shots.
Yeah.
Bricked his first three.
Okay.
And like I was like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have let him go.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden some of our varsity players like, yeah, go Matt, go, you got it, you got it. And then every time he shoots, they start going, oh, and then if he misses, they're going, oh. So
And he's still by himself. Nobody else has come out?
no, nobody else ever
my
went
God.
out. He was always shooting by himself.
Whoa.
So then other people in the gym start noticing because our varsity players are like cheering him on and stuff.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, everyone is living and dying by every shot he takes. Yes. So they're like, one of our kids was like, Mac, go shoot a three, go shoot a three. So he goes out there, he dribbles, first three, brick. And they're all like, oh. By the time he goes out there to shoot the second one, the whole the whole gym is just watching him. And everybody's like, oh, and then he misses an, oh. And it's like, oh gosh, I was regretting my decision to let him go.
Yeah.
He goes out there for the third one, shoots it. Everybody goes, oh, he knocks it down.
Yes.
Nothing but net.
Yes.
The whole gym, Raymond student section, fans from both
Yes.
sides, all our varsity players. Oh yeah! Everybody just explodes and he knocks it down. And then he stayed out there for almost all of halftime, and people were cheering him every time he made a shot.
That's
it was
awesome.
like the coolest thing ever. That like it just felt to me like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. Like he was the halftime entertainment.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That, I wish I could have been there. That is a great thing about sports, is when stuff happens like that, where fans on both sides
Yeah.
were united.
Yeah.
In this instance of cheering for Mac.
Yeah.
The only other time I remember something kind of like that at halftime is, were you with me when we were broadcasting a game at Hoquiam? I want to say it was an Aberdeen Hoquiam game, so I want to say it was packed. But maybe it wasn't. Anyways, a varsity game, halftime, they do the halftime hoop shoot.
Yep.
Right, and you can either shoot from like a lay-in, a free throw, from the elbow, three-pointer, or half court, and they
Right.
have different prizes.
Yep.
And to get the money, you have to shoot from half court. And this little kid walks out there, and the student section starts yelling, shoot like half court, go for the money. And this kid's tiny. And we're like, oh, come on, let the kid win some pizza. And he goes to half court, and we're like, oh, he's peer pressured into doing this. And he baseball hucks it. You could tell that he put every ounce of his strength into this shot as he possibly could, just to get the ball there, and buries it from half court, and the entire gym loses their minds. The student section runs out onto the court
Yeah, I do
and
remember
picks him up onto
Yeah.
their shoulders. That's what that reminds me of. Because
Not gonna lie, I was getting a little emotional on that one.
I almost got emotional telling the story. Anyway,
It's like the time
that remote is what that reminds me
LeBron
of.
went and celebrated with the guy who made the half court shot to win, $1 million or whatever it was.
Yeah,
It's exactly like
getting
that.
emotional. Not gonna lie.
Sorry, I was so late with that. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have beat the Saskatchewan Roughriders in the Western
go.
Final, and they
For
will
the W.
they will be playing in the Grey Cup.
Nice.
Yes.
Let's go.
Go Big Hill.
Big
Go
Hill
Bombers.
Big Hill finished
Hill.
the game with 8 tackles. That's 4 more than the closest guy on the team.
Nice.
He's just cleaning up.
Big Hills Bombers beat badly born Rough Riders. I was trying to think of more B's.
This
but
weekend's going really well.
it is.
Seahawks are winning.
Hey.
Blue Bombers won. Cincinnati's in the playoffs. Tar Heels won today. This is a good sports day, Daniel.
Yeah, I mean Oregon State got pounded, but they've
See,
lost a
another
lot
loss.
of games. Don't jinx the Seahawks though, God.
Well, they're winning right now.
Right now.
I'm going to enjoy
Okay.
it while it's happening.
Okay, that's a good point. They'll probably blow it, but we're gonna enjoy it for the moment. I think that's gonna do it for our podcast today.
Yeah.
And for those,
are
is
we
anybody
taking-
watching online?
Are we taking a bit of a break? We've got
a break?
Courtney chimed in
Oh.
and said that she doesn't think Justin is wrong for getting in line and skipping people accidentally.
Yes.
She does think it would have been wrong if you had seen what was happening first and chose not to follow.
Oh yeah, I could see that. Like if you saw what people were doing and then just kind of gave them the proverbial finger and was like, "You guys are wrong."
Okay, so now
would-
Angel, my wife, and Courtney, your wife, have both said that I was okay.
Okay.
So I feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Wonder what Hannah would say.
I don't know.
Probably say you were wrong on principle.
The Seahawks just stopped him on 4th and 1, but there was a false start. So I guess they'll have to redo
Oh,
that.
did you see what happened? The center bobbled the ball.
Oh,
He was
that's funny.
lined up and he was calling out signals and he bobbled the ball.
That'll do it.
Guys, are we planning on taking a few weeks off?
Oh,
Do we want to talk about that?
that's
On the air.
On the air. Let's make this decision.
At least let people know.
Did we? Hey, is anybody watching right now, or is everybody watching the
there
Seahawks
are
game?
3 people watching right now.
Thank you for watching us instead of a game where the Seahawks are actually winning. Maybe that's why, because you made that decision. So we thank you. I don't know who you are. It's probably Courtney and Caitlin's probably one. Your other sister is one of our strongest viewers. Caitlin, if it's you, comment quickly. Anything else? Oh yeah, next 2 weeks. So you guys both work for a company that is miserable to work for at this time of year. So I believe from the podcast, we are probably going to take the next 2 weeks off.
So a couple weeks off will put us the day after Christmas. Do we want to do the next?
We might
podcast
have
the
to
day
play-
after-
And that one's going to be questionable.
Yeah, let's decide when we get there.
Yeah.
Because there's something going on that day that might supersede podcast
So
responsibility.
Exactly.
Stay tuned.
But-
And Happy New Year.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. I am going to do my best to still be putting out Athlete of the Weeks during this period.
Athletes of the week.
Yeah. Yep. Athlete. But there's multiple weeks, too.
Athletes of the Weeks.
There you go.
Athletes of those weeks.
Of those weeks.
Of-
So I'm gonna try
of
and
those weeks.
I'm gonna try and do something. I'm sure Justin, I'm gonna say right now, he probably hasn't thought of this, but he'll probably put up some crazy polls on the
Doesn't
Twitter
sound like
sphere or a random picture of like the best Christmas foods or something like that. He probably won't. He's crazy busy at this
You
time.
know what I really
But
wanted to do that I'm
we're gonna-
disappointed
What?
we don't get to? You know how we've done we do a few of these drafts of random things and
Yes.
then we engage the audience? I wanted to do a Christmas movie draft. I thought that would have been really fun.
That would have been a good one.
Let's do it next year.
There's
Put it on
no
the
way-
calendar now that next year we're going to do it.
Dibs on Die Hard and Lethal Weapon.
And Lethal Weapon. Man, you're taking both of those?
I did not know Lethal Weapon was a Christmas movie.
Have you watched Lethal Weapon?
No. I also haven't watched Die Hard.
What?
Wasted time.
That is right up your alley.
Is it?
They're right up your... Yeah.
Are there car chases?
Yes.
Non-stop
Explosions?
Yes.
and-
Wait, are there any feelings in it?
And it's not
Clarence-
based on a book.
Clarence says that he's canceling his subscription.
Because of Die Hard?
It's
I think
understandable.
probably because we're not going to cover
Because
the next
he's
few weeks.
Oh. Well,
We'll cover it in some way or another.
Here's the other thing. Even though I won't be on with the Scrimmage doing a podcast, I have so many freaking basketball games. I'm going to be so busy. That's why I'm okay with us taking a break too, because I usually cover one basketball game a week, but I also do both of the Myrtle Street rivalry games whenever they happen, and all 4 of those games are happening in December.
So you've got 4 games in the next 2 weeks?
Not in the next 2 weeks, but in the month of December, I've got 7 games that I'm doing. I've already done one. Monty King's Girls is the next one, and then just a bunch of Aberdeen Hoquiam games, and I think an Aberdeen Elma game mixed in there too. So if you want to listen to my voice yelling about basketball,
Everyone does.
Courtney
do that.
says Merry Christmas, and my wife is inviting Justin to our house so we can watch Die Hard. Christmas party at our house.
there we go.
I'm there.
All right, that's going to do it for our show. So for my co-host, Justin, I haven't seen Die Hard, Damashevitz.
And my co-host, Daniel Mariano Rivera, is Starbucks Hargrove.
And our trusty producer, Andrew. Gross. Literally, I didn't have anything to say, so I just tried to imitate his laugh real quick there.
It's iconic, though. I don't think anyone can really imitate
I did
it.
my best. Okay, I did my best. You've been listening to the Scrimmage. Oop. Oop. I'm gassy.
Seems like a good spot to end it.